أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. So we left off at section 20 on Surah An-Nisa, and we're on verse 135. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله. Believers, stand for justice as witnesses for Allah. Now this means that when you stand for justice, it means if you're giving testimony, you're being called in as a witness, or somebody wants you to judge between them, or somebody wants you to, validate them or argue on their behalf, be their lawyer basically, you should always stand for justice as witnesses. So if you're going to be a witness, you need to make sure that if somebody's asking you, hey, I need you to be a witness and you're going to give testimony, you should always stand for justice. Do what is right and tell the truth. Why do you do it? You do it for Allah. You do it for earning the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the niyyah, the intention should always be that you do things for Allah. وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوِ الْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ. Even if it's against yourselves, or against your parents, or against your close family members. Now this is a very difficult verse to follow, because if you're being told to tell the truth, even if telling the truth is against you and you get in trouble for telling the truth, Allah is saying, even if it's against you and you get in trouble, you still tell the truth. Even if it's against your parents and they're going to get in trouble, you still tell the truth. Even if it's against your close family member or your friends or anybody, you should always tell the truth, because telling the truth and doing what is right for justice is more important than protecting yourself. It's more important than protecting your family members. It's more important than protecting the ones you love. And that's very tempting. It's very tempting to lie to protect yourself. But what's the reality is, if you are 100% with justice and you're telling the truth about things, then you know what? You have to, it's hard for people to admit their mistakes, even in life. And if you get in trouble, it's even harder for you to tell that, you know what, I was the person who did that. I'm going to be punished for what I've done. It's very, very hard. But this is the right thing to do. And Allah is telling you, do the right thing. إِن يَكُنْ غَنِيًّا أَوْ فَقِيرًا فَاللَّهُ أَوْلَى بِهِمَا. Whether they are rich or poor, Allah is better for them. Now, what does that mean, whether they're rich or they're poor? It's not just talking about your parents, right? So we're not talking about yourselves and your family and your parents now. Now we're talking about somebody does something wrong, and they're asking you to be a witness for them and say, you know what, tell this person that I was at your house. I'm not the one who stole the homework papers or something like that. Just say we were hanging out together, and it's not true. So what are you going to do? You're going to look and you say, you know what? If this person is rich, if they're wealthy, then you're going to be inclined to help them, because you know what? If you are on good terms with somebody who's wealthy, they may be able to help me someday, because they're rich or powerful or something like that. But what if they're poor? If they're poor, you might be inclined to help them. And you say, poor person, he's so poor and he's difficult life. Okay, I'll just go ahead and say he was at my house. I'm going to go ahead and lie to help somebody who's poor. Why? Because they're poor and I feel sorry for them. Let me help someone because they're in a bad situation, but I'll help them not in the right way. I'll help them by doing something that's actually wrong, but I feel sorry for them. And Allah is saying, no, you do not help anyone because they're rich, just because you can benefit from them. You're not going to help anyone because they're poor, because you feel sorry for them, then you're going to lie on their behalf. No, none of this matters. And it says, فَاللَّهُ أَوْلَى بِهِمَا. Allah is better for them. Meaning Allah is better for them than you are. So don't be inclined to say, you know what, I'm going to do it for this person. I'm going to help this person, or this person needs me. No. You leave it up to Allah. This is between them and Allah. And what is your job? Your job is to tell the truth. Your job is to do what is just and to do what is right. It doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter if it's you. Doesn't matter if it's your parents. Doesn't matter if the person is rich. It doesn't matter if the person is poor. فَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا الْهَوَىٰ أَن تَعْدِلُوا. Do not let your desires cause you to deviate. Right? Meaning, don't let your desires or your prejudice against people that you're judging them, you don't like them, or you like them, you're going to go and give some false information about something. Don't let it deviate from you telling the truth. Always speak what is true. وَإِن تَلْوُوا أَوْ تُعْرِضُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرًا. If you distort, meaning the testimony, if you give a wrong testimony, you lie about it. Say, yeah, the person was at my house. Or, I saw the other person actually stealing it, and it's not true. If you distort the testimony as a witness, or if you refuse to give it, you say, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything. And the other person is gonna get in trouble unless you say something. An innocent person can be punished because you being quiet and not wanting to say anything. Then remember that Allah is aware of what you do. Allah knows what you're doing. And Allah is going to hold you accountable for that. Allah will punish you for that. So you have to be very, very careful about whether you tell the truth and whether you're a person of justice. It is very difficult, but we need to be people of justice. What's the opposite of that? The opposite is people they do what's called favoritism. Favoritism is, this is my friend, I'm going to always help my friend. Even if my friend is wrong, I'm going to help my friend. This is my family, this is my tribe. I'm always going to defend my tribe because they're my tribe. It doesn't matter whether they're doing right or wrong. Same thing that happens with nationalism, with countries. I'm going to support my country always. Whether they're doing right or wrong, it's my country. I have to help them. No, in Islam, this is not the way. Islam is about justice. You can love your people, you can love your parents, you can love yourself, you can love your family, you love your friends, but you don't do what is wrong in order to support them. That in and of itself is wrong. And then Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu aminu billahi wa rasulih. Believers, believe in Allah and His Messenger, والكتاب الذي نزل على رسوله والكتاب الذي أنزل من قبل, and believe in the book that He revealed to His Messenger. Who's the Messenger referring to? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the book that He revealed before. Now the word is kitab, book. But as we've mentioned before in this Quran study class, is that when it's referring to the book of the past, it's actually plural because all the revelation from Allah combined together is being referred to as the book, meaning the book of revelation throughout history. So it's actually referring to plural even though it's singular. ومن يكفر بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا. Whoever denies Allah and His angels and His books and His messengers and the last day has clearly gone far off. Far off from what? Far off from the path of truth, from the right path. So see, these 5 things that are mentioned, these are known as the pillars of Iman, the pillars of belief. And it's important to kind of, know them because they're mentioned in the Quran. Belief in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, belief in the next life, belief in the last day. Right, so this is usually when children go to school, like Muslim kids, when they go to like a Sunday school or something like that, they make them memorize these 5 things. And sometimes they add one more, they add qadr, belief in the decree of Allah. Right, so whether it's 5 or whether it's 6, doesn't matter. These 5 are pillars of faith, pillars of Iman. Every Muslim should know them. Well, somebody did a class recently, and they asked the kids in the class, do you know the pillars of Iman? And none of the kids in the class could mention the pillars of faith. This class was actually taught by Dr. Haifa, and she was very disappointed. And she told me, please do me a favor. Make sure in one of your classes you cover the pillars of Iman, pillars of faith. So I've done my job. Do you see all 5 of them? Who sees them? Raise your hand. Okay. Some of you don't see them? You didn't raise your hand? Were you paying attention or were you not paying attention? All right. 5 pillars. I'll do it one more time. Belief in Allah, belief in His angels, belief in His books, Belief in his messengers, belief in the last day. Very quickly, belief in Allah. We should know that. That's just to be clear. Belief in his angels. Who can name two angels? Yes. Mikael and Jibreel. Very good. And we saw them in Surah Al-Baqarah as well. Who can name four books that Allah has revealed? Yes. Qur'an, Torah, Injil. Shayla, give the fourth one. Or she just motivated. She's like, you can do it. You got it. You got this. Who can do the fourth one? Yeah. Zabur. Good. And who can tell me what those are in English? Don't say the Quran. Quran is Quran. Okay. What about the other three? What's the English translation? Yes.
Quran, Torah,
Torah,
Bible,
Bible,
and Psalms.
Psalms. Yes. You can say Bible or Gospels, right? And the Psalms. Psalms of prophet. And which prophets were these revealed to? Somebody else. Somebody new. Four books. Which four prophets were they revealed to? Dr. Hazel, not going to be happy. He's really not going to be happy. But go ahead. Prophet Dawood, Zabur, Injil, Prophet Isa, Prophet Jesus, Torah, Umar, Musa, and the Quran, Prophet Muhammad. Good. Next, we have his messengers. Let's make it easy. 12 prophets. Let's go. Anybody, shout them out. Prophet Musa, Isa, Dawood, Yahya, huh? Yusuf, Ibrahim, who? Prophet Muhammad, Prophet Adam, Ismail, who did you say? Adam we got. Nuh alayhi salam, Shu'aib I heard. Two more. Go ahead, you just shut it up. Yusuf, huh? Eliasa and Yaqub. Good. We got 12. All right. There is about 25 mentioned in the Quran. So we got those. And the last thing. Okay, so these are the 5 pillars of Iman. The sixth one is Qadar, a decree of Allah. إن الذين آمنوا ثم كفروا ثم آمنوا ثم كفروا ثم ازدادوا كفرا. Those who believed and then disbelieved. And then they believed again, and then again they disbelieved. And they just increased in their disbelief. So this was a group of a few people. They were wavering back and forth. They were switching between Muslim and then non-Muslim. And then Muslim and then non-Muslim. And there were reasons. We talked about these hypocrites before. So these people went back and forth due to their confusion, and they ended up in disbelief at the end. What happens to them? لم يكن الله ليغفر لهم ولا ليهديهم سبيلا. Allah will neither forgive them nor will He guide them to the true way. So these people are completely lost, and Allah is mentioning who they are. He's going to talk about how they're hypocrites. He's going to say, بشر المنافقين بأن لهم عذابا أليما. Give good news of a painful punishment to the hypocrites. Meaning in the next slide. Just one verse talking about their behavior. Look, Allah is describing what they're doing. Look what they're doing. They're playing around. Oh, Muslim now. Oh, I'm not Muslim anymore. Non-Muslim. Oh, now I'm not Muslim anymore. So these people are playing around, and they're confused themselves, but they're also playing games. And we're going to see that. الذين يتخذون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين. Those who choose disbelievers as allies instead of the disbelievers. Now here's the important thing to remember. Munafiq is a hypocrite. Hypocrites are they secretive or they do things openly? They're secretive. What are they doing here? They're openly taking allies against the Muslim. They're openly allying and showing friendship with the people who hate Islam. But now Allah is calling them out and saying, you know what, these guys are supposed to be on the down low, secretive, covert, pretending to be Muslims. What do? They're actually openly showing friendship with these people. Do they seek honor through them? Now Allah is criticizing them because everyone can see what they're doing. Do they seek honor and power through these people by having relationships with them? So even if these people, they were pretending to be Muslim and they were trying to keep everything secret, why would you go and then start meeting with all the big enemies of Islam and say, yeah, yeah, you're buddy buddy with them? Something is not right. How could you do that? Something is wrong, seriously wrong with you. فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةِ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. All honor and power belongs to Allah. Allah is reminding them, you know what? All those alliances and those friendships and those, they didn't have pictures back then, but like politicians today, all those picture opportunities that you get, what do you think that's going to benefit you in life? Allah is in control of who is going to benefit and who's not going to benefit. Allah is in control of who's going to be in power and who's going to have honor and who's going to be dishonored and who's going to be removed from power. It's reminding them, it's not going to help them at all. وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ يُكْفَرُ بِهَا وَيُسْتَهْزَأُ بِهَا. He's already revealed to you. He's talking about Allah. Allah has already revealed to you in the book. Which book are we talking about? The Quran. The Quran is referring to the Quran. We already revealed to you in the book that when you hear Allah's revelations being denied or being ridiculed, that you're supposed to do something. Where is this verse? This verse is referring to chapter 6, verse 68. Does anyone know what chapter 6 is? What's the name of chapter 6? Al-An'am. Very good, mashallah. Where did you learn that? Are you happy with the Quran? You memorized it? You remember? You just happen to know. Mashallah. Very good. Impressive. All right. Alhamdulillah. Bless you. Mashallah. So this is chapter 6. What chapter are we in right now? It should be easy question. Which number chapter are we on? Somebody from the front row here. Get the front row? Yes. 4. Very good, mashallah. All right, I was getting worried. You redeemed the front row. So chapter 4. This is chapter 6. How could chapter 6 be revealed before chapter 4? Doesn't chapter 4 come first? What's going on? Yeah. Exactly. So the numbers of the surah doesn't mean the way that the Quran is revealed. The earliest surahs that were revealed are actually at the end of the Quran. So Surah Al-An'am was revealed actually before, or at least these verses were revealed before these verses of Surah An-Nisa. So Allah is referring back to a surah, even though technically in the order that we read it, it's actually forward. Okay? But saying we've already revealed this verse to you that if someone is making fun of the Quran and someone is making fun of Islam and they're saying horrible things about Islam, what happens? فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ. Do not sit in that group unless they engage in some different topic, unless they change conversations. Now, first of all, should you even be sitting with those people in general that are making fun of Islam? Probably not. But if you're going to sit with them anyways, at least make sure you're not going to be sitting there when they're talking bad about Islam. And this is a very important lesson for everyone. This is mentioned in another verse, and Allah mentions it again to add emphasis. Sometimes when we have friends or colleagues, or schoolmates, classmates at school or at work, and sometimes they're sitting there, they're making fun of Islam, or they're making fun of, let's say they're making fun of Christianity, or they're making fun of belief in God. Like all these religious people, they're so ridiculous, they don't make any sense. And you're going to sit there, and you're going to be quiet, you're going to be like sitting there just eating your lunch. And they're actually indirectly making fun of Islam, and they're making fun of you actually. You may not even realize, or they may not realize that, hey, you're a person who comes to the masjid, or you're a person who takes Islam seriously, or you're proud to believe in Allah. You're proud to believe that there is a God, there's a creator. So your response should not be where you sit there quietly, just be like, just pretend like you didn't say that. No. As a Muslim, your responsibility is to not sit in that group. You get up and leave, let alone object. إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ. Otherwise, you will be like them. Meaning, either you're going to start imitating their ways, or you're going to be like them in the sin, because you sat there and someone was making fun of Islam, making fun of the Quran, and you did nothing about it. It's like almost like gossiping about somebody or backbiting. Somebody's sitting there insulting somebody else, and you sit there and you be like, I'm just not going to say anything. I didn't say it. I was just listening to it. You listening to it means that you're partaking in the sin. It's like secondhand smoking. Someone is smoking a cigarette in front of you, and they're blowing the smoke onto you. And you're like, well, I'm not smoking. And what does research show now? Secondhand smoke is actually just as bad, if not worse, than the person who's smoking the cigarette. So yes, you're going to be affected by that. So you got to leave. إن الله جامع المنافقين والكافرين في جهنم جميعا. Allah will gather the hypocrites and the disbelievers together in the hellfire. Right? Both of them deserve punishment. So he's saying both of these people we've described, Allah's going to get both of them. You know why? Is this verse about people who are making fun of the Qur'an, about Allah's revelations? Is it referring to the hypocrites or the disbelievers? Which one? Or both? It's not both. It's only one. Which one is it? Which one? Shayla. Hypocrites, yes. Why? Jazakallah khair. This isn't in the last one. No, there's a better reasoning. Think about what how can you know it's the hypocrites that would be doing that? Sorry, it's not hypocrites. Why did I say hypocrites? Say disbelievers, not hypocrites. Why is it the disbelievers and not the hypocrites? Hypocrites, by definition, are secretive. They don't openly talk. These people are openly talking in front of the Muslim. They're saying bad stuff about Islam. Hypocrites are supposed to be pretending. So they were not going to say it out loud. So I was talking about the disbelievers. Previous verse talked about the hypocrites. So now it's bringing them together and say both of them are going to be in trouble with Allah. الذين يتربصون بكم فإن كان لكم فتح من الله قالوا ألم نكن معكم. So we're talking about the hypocrites now again. Those hypocrites are the people who they wait to see what happens to you. You referring to the Muslims. So they're waiting to see what's going to happen to the Muslims. If Allah gives you victory, there's a battle, there's a war or something, they're going to say, weren't we on your side? Like, weren't we with the Muslims? Like, we were with you, Muslims. So basically, it's going to say, see, we're loyal to the Muslim cause. And you should reward us and give us some spoils of war or something like that. But وَإِنْ كَانَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ نَصِيبٌ قَالُوا أَلَمْ نَسْتَحْوِذْ عَلَيْكُمْ وَنَمْنَعْكُمْ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. But if the disbelievers have a share, meaning if they have a victory in one of the battles, then these hypocrites, they're going to go and say to them, to the disbelievers, say, didn't we have the advantage over you, but we protected you from the disbelievers? Now it's important to identify the two we's. The two we's are not the same because remember, hypocrites have a dual identity. Their number one identity, outward identity, they identify as Muslims. It's the problem with identity politics. People are, I identify as this. I identify as a tree or identify whatever it may be, right? The problem with identity is people say, I identify as a Jew, but I'm atheist. They don't believe in God. There are many you can be part of the Reform synagogue in Judaism, and you don't have to believe in God. But I still identify as a Jew. You know, it's interesting. But anyways, these people identified as a Muslim outwardly, but then they also, to the non-believers, they identified as hypocrites. We are sabotaging the Muslims from the inside. So we're actually helping you guys, right? So we are the ones, we as a Muslim community, the first we as the Muslim army, we had so much advantage over you. Do you know why the Muslims lost? Why you won this battle? Because we hypocrites, we were able to get the Muslims from the inside. If you didn't have us, you guys would have never won this war. But now they're going, when they lose, they go and they play the other side. And that's the problem with hypocrites. They'll play both sides. They'll play this side if they win, and they'll play this side if they lose. And there's some people, they'll always spin the truth for their own advantage. Allah will judge between you on the day of judgment. Allah will judge between all of you. Meaning the true Muslims in the army and between the hypocrites who are pretending in the army as well. وَلَن يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ سَبِيلًا. Allah will never grant the disbelievers a way over the believers. What does that mean? That means in general, but particularly we're talking about Jannah and Jahannam, paradise and the hellfire. Meaning, whatever these people are doing, the real winners are going to be the Muslims at the end of the day. So we should not be in doubt about that.